West Ham joined Burley and Wolves in relegation. Frank Leboeuf is with us in the end, Craig. Spurs got it done, crossed the line.
Yeah, and I think had they not made that big decision after the bad decision,
yes,
which was Igor Tudor, had they not made the ZERBI decision, then, and that's a lot of D's in there, I think they would have gone. So he at least got a tune out of this group towards the end that got them over the line. They can be thankful that A, it was in their control today because of West Ham being 2 points behind, and B, they were playing Everton, who have been in free fall this last couple of months of the season, who really didn't offer anything until we almost got to the 90th minute in terms of a threat. So that worked out well for them. They did enough today without being great. And actually, I am looking forward to seeing what De Zerbi does next year. Great stadium. You know, will they give him the money to
Will we be sat here this time next year having the same conversation about Spurs?
No. Look, this guy, you know, he's a hothead, and you saw on the pitch today, I know there was a lot on the line, but he's at the side and he's a loose cannon, he bobs around. But he's got a proven track record of good coaching, good teams, good football, getting results in several countries, including England with Brighton. So yeah, I think it'll be much better for Spurs next year. How much better in terms of being, and I think they'll be in the top half of the table, but where it takes them from there depends on how he evaluates the squad. Because it's not just the coaching, they're down there because there's obviously a mentality issue in that squad dressing room as well. So he probably already has figured out which ones they need to keep, who they need to try and get rid of, and how much will this board give me to spend. But that's a bonus for them because, you know, you could see by some of the pictures over the last couple of weeks, it did look as if Tottenham could go. But thankfully for them, West Ham were worse.
We talk about, Stevie, when you've won titles in the past, the first feeling is one of relief.
Yep.
For a team surviving relegation, that's got to be magnified and then some.
Oh, times 100. And there's no question. I 100% agree with Craig. Without De Zerbi, they could have gone down.
Right.
Absolutely. He put life in this team. And the transformation between him coming to Tottenham and what we see Tottenham now is just night and day.
Yeah.
And he is the reason why they're staying up.
Frank?
Yeah, but the performance today wasn't that good as well. So, yeah, there may be mentally-wise a change, but football-wise, players have to wake up, you know. I like the fact that I saw players kissing the badge. We love the club. We fought hard, celebrating a non-relegation for Spurs. I mean, there is a way of celebrating that kind of day where you just got non-relegated. So just go to the dressing room, make a low profile because really, you
Frank,
were bad.
Surely you can't resent them celebrating considering what the season's been like and what would have happened if they got relegated.
You were bad. It's why you were almost relegated. It's because it's your fault. You didn't do what you had to do on the pitch. It's why you had to. I was relegated once in my first year with Laval. I was so ashamed. But I would have been saved the last day. I wouldn't have celebrated anything. I just go to the dressing room. I say, okay, pray for next season to not have the same season and do better. So that's the only thing I can say, you know. You celebrate a title, you celebrate a European seat, but you don't celebrate a non-relegation, especially if you are Spurs. We are talking about Tottenham Spurs. We're not talking about a Burley or another team because that's different task and different club. So I'm sorry. What I saw after the game was, for me, it troubled me. It troubled me in a way.
It's a bit harsh, isn't it?
It's a different day.
I don't have an issue. I've been in that scenario where unfortunately, as you well know, in my time at Derby County under the legendary Jim Smith, who was a fantastic manager, but we didn't have the budget, we didn't spend, we didn't buy the right players. And
Derby County.
And we were battling. And I understand that celebration of staying up because at that point for that club, that was an achievement, staying up. And I did say to Jim, you know, we can't keep doing this because it will be the same thing year after year and eventually the trap door will open. For Tottenham, it's different. They should not be down there. But they are, and they were. But I don't have an issue with them celebrating. What was the story with Romero, by the way?
Yeah, they got him back.
So did he, I mean, I know it's not really, but it's by the by. But did he come back because of the backlash, or was he coming back anyway? Because if so, they could have just told us that, and it would have spared everybody getting the baseball bat out and giving him a good whacking over the last few days. Because he had to be there, didn't he? And that's what we were saying.
I think it's got to be because of the backlash, because why on earth open that door in the first place?
You couldn't be, and that's what we were saying yesterday, and I don't know what the guys were saying in midweek, you couldn't be 5,000 miles away, whatever it is, you couldn't be there in a different continent when your employers, your paymasters, might be going through that trap door. It just couldn't happen. So somebody saw some sense. Actually, they did look like a galvanised team today, from the bench to the crowd to on the pitch, and that sort of got them through. I think if they'd been playing a better team today, and I don't mean a great team, but a better team, I think they could have gone. That's kind of the situation they're in.
Do you have a problem with the celebration, Stevie?
No, not the fact that they stayed up. No. I think Frank's forgetting that players today have a different mentality than what Frank had, and certainly what we had. We would have been looked at it as, I can't believe we've just managed to stay up. That's the kind of mentality we would have had. But you cannot, absolutely cannot, have a go at them for celebrating staying up, because it's huge for the club. In terms of Romero, if this guy is at Spurs next year, I'll be shocked.
Right.
You shouldn't need to be told to get back in a situation like that. It's an absolute disgrace, the fact that he thought it would be okay for him to be in Argentina when his so-called club, that he's the captain of, by the way, could have got relegated and he wouldn't have been there. I mean, that is just unthinkable.
For West Ham, 13 years in the Premier League, back to the Championship.
Well, there's a couple of things. Well, there's several things. They've not been good enough. They've been pretty poor to watch as well. Their football for most of the season has been terrible, very pedestrian. They've spent badly. They've chosen their managers badly. And Nuno Espirito Santo, for all the fights he had at Nottingham Forest with, I think, Edu, the sporting director, in the end, and Marinakis, the owner, I bet he wished he hadn't picked those fights. Because certainly you'd want to be at Forest rather than at West Ham.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind he got them into Europe the season before, but he didn't do enough at West Ham. So there's a lot of it on his shoulders as well, because he went into that job pretty early. He had a long time to work. It's not like ZERBI where he comes in, he had, 9 games or so, whatever it was. Nuno had more than that, and he couldn't get the job. And in some sense, I don't really feel sorry for West Ham in a way. The ownership's pretty horrible these days. The stadium's doesn't have it's not Upton Park. They don't own it, and the other side of it is, when they had a really good manager in David Moyes, I think they offered them a contract, but most of the fans, they wanted something fancier, better football, better this, win the Conference League in Europe. That's success for them. Not really in any relegation trouble, because David Moyes was taking them into the top 6 or top 8. And yet they were never happy with that, because they wanted this West Ham way. Harping back to the Trevor Brooking days and all these supposed glory days of Upton Park, where they played nice football, didn't really win a lot. And they've got their comeuppance, because they've had managers in there that can't organise them. And ultimately they've gone, and what decision they make. And he said he's going to step down, I think, at some point if they get relegated. And I think most West Ham fans will be happy to see the back of him.
I actually feel sorry for West Ham fans. Because, generally when a team gets relegated, we look at the players and go, the players have got to take a lot of responsibility. But the fact is that all the responsibility is with the people in charge. When you sign players that are not good enough, you can't blame the players when they don't perform. And that's what they've done.
Right.
They've brought in too many managers, such a short space of time. They've brought in players who are not good enough, and you get relegated. And you shouldn't be surprised. So I feel bad for West Ham fans. They've turned up in a stadium that none of them wanted or enjoyed being at, but they've still stuck with their team and they've been relegated because of what's been going on upstairs.
But it just feels that they no matter, and I don't want to harp on about David Moyes, but he was big for them. He was huge for this club on a couple of occasions, but they seemed never happy with what he was giving them. Mm-hmm. And he was giving them guaranteed safety. He was giving them that competitive edge. Whether, it's typical of the modern day supporter in the sense that they see what the Liverpools and the Arsenals and the Man Cities are doing and all these teams, and they want a piece of that. And that's okay. But you have to be in the real world.
Right.
If you're buying the kind of players that Stevie's talking about, and David Moyes spent wiser and better than what they've done recently, but it still wasn't the top-notch players. And he figured a way when he had Paquetá in the team to how to work around that and had success, which the managers coming in did not. Paquetá became a huge liability. And it's almost be careful what you wish for. You wish for change because you wanted more, and maybe that's fine, you want better. But better in terms of on the field performance doesn't always relate to your standing in the Premier League, because if you don't have the right organisation, and West Ham did not, this is what happens. One other thing though, it was 39 points they went down on.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I believe, listening to the commentary today,
Yeah.
from I was going to say our colleague John Champions, but he's everybody's colleague.
Yes, that's
he's here,
true.
there, and everywhere.
Yes.
Is 39 points would have kept you up
Yeah.
in the last, I think, 5 seasons or so,
Yeah.
but not to be this year.
Jarrod Bowen to Liverpool?
That would be fine by me. Yeah, I mean, when you can score goals playing in a team like that, and clearly you got your temperament. For him to perform the way he has done at West Ham tells you how good his temperament is. Never mind the talent. It's one thing to have talent, but when you've got the desire and the temperament and all of those tools, you deserve to be playing in a better side. And so, yeah, I would have no problem if Mr. Jarrod Bowen would like to don a red jersey and come over to Anfield.
John Champion was wrong, according to you, 2011, the last time a team went down with 39 points.
Well, it wasn't the only time he was wrong today. I'm sure, I hope he sees this.